Hello, my friends, and welcome to another podcast episode. Today, I'd like to invite you to explore with me the energy and the significance of spring equinox through the lens of understanding that when we connect more with the wisdom of our bodies, when we connect more with the rhythm of nature, we are able to connect with life itself. We are able to bring more harmony and balance into our whole being. And this is something that comes up a lot in my work with my clients in the training certifications, like the trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification, as well as trauma-informed yoga teacher training. So many of us within our society live in very disembodied way. We are disconnected not only from our bodies, but also from the natural flow of life itself, from that natural rhythm of life, from living in alignment with the seasons, from really embracing the natural pace and rhythm of life. This is such an important thing because what we know about trauma and trauma experiences is that it really shatters and destroys our trust in our bodies, in other people, and in life itself. And that means that it destroys that sense of harmony and balance and a sense of belonging to life, being part of life. And so one of the ways that we can really bring more harmony and balance is to start embracing the natural rhythms of life, starting to live a bit more in tune with the nature. We know, I'm sure you know, I certainly know that how healing being in nature is, how much it allows us to slow down, how much it allows us to disconnect with this hyper-manic, hyper-alert way of being that is so common in our working places, in especially if you're working quite a lot online. I noticed definitely when I spent more than 3 or 4 hours on my computer, even when I'm talking with people, when I am checking in, when I am doing coaching or mentoring or delivering training, there is that space of time that I need following it to really reconnect with my body, reconnect with my environment much more. This is why, for example, in the training sessions, we start with somatic self-compassion practices, with arriving and centering and grounding, with really checking in what our needs are, what's our state on a physiological level, on a nervous system level. We are checking in how we are and what we need in order for us to look after ourselves in the best possible way in that online space. And throughout, there are many practices that we use, that we learn about, and then we practice that help us to keep coming back to ourselves, not keep getting lost even in such an amazing training and connecting with others, but really keep coming back to our inner experience, keep coming back to who we are, what's going on for us, what are our responses in this moment. And so as we just celebrated spring equinox, and as we are moving into spring, there is definite shift in the energy. There is definite shift in the nature around us, definitely here in UK and in Poland, throughout the Europe, depending on obviously where you live on our wonderful planet Earth. But here in UK, the spring is coming. The flowers are coming through. The buds are on the trees. The trees and plants are starting to flower, and with so many different colors. It is still early in the spring, but you can see how the nature is waking up. This year we didn't have a very strong winter where I live, definitely in the southeast of UK. But there is still this awakening process. There is still this way of, well, the days are longer. It's no longer dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 8 o'clock in the morning. I can go out with Oscar at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon or in the evening and really have a really nice walk. It's much warmer. It's much more pleasant to be outside. It's fascinating seeing in the winter time, especially here in Kent, going on the beach, summertime when the weather is beautiful, there's loads of people. Wintertime, you only really see other dog walkers, especially when it's blowing, when it's raining, when it's not very pleasant, and most people prefer to stay at home. And this is one of the most beautiful things for me, the beautiful change that we experience from having our dog Oscar and being able to walk on the beach every day, whether it's a beautiful weather or whether it is quite challenging, quite different weather, quite stormy or rainy, or the wind is blowing. And it's fascinating what it does to my nervous system and my physiology and my sense of well-being to go out in all that different weather and really be with nature, really experience it firsthand on a daily basis like this. And so this is why, I guess, over the last 4 years, much more so than before, I've been much more aware of the weather. I've been much more aware of the nature, of the changes in nature, and how my body and my physiology is responding to different seasons. And seasonal living is something that many people are talking much more about. For me, it is really about connecting with life. And when you start doing that, as I said, you can start experiencing so much more harmony and balance, and allow yourself to reconnect with who we are on our very deep physiological level, on a very primal level, of really understanding that we can't control the weather, we can't control the nature. We can control the nature to a certain degree, but we all know that we can't really control the nature fully. And we can fight against it, we can fight against the needs of our bodies, or we can choose to align with the natural rhythm and pace of nature. We can live in our mind, and this is how our society is structured, on a very Cartesian thinking. I think, therefore I am. We can keep pushing, we can keep striving, we can keep working towards achievements and forcing ourselves and moving forward and being very focused. But if that's not balanced with rest, with a sense of coming back to yourself on that very somatic embodied level, if it's not balanced with joy, if it's not balanced with sense of inner peace and deep rest and renewal, sooner or later our body will start saying no. And this is why I love so much the work of Dr. Gabor Mate. Really amazing stuff, because it so resonates with me so deeply. It really allows me to it really gives me a confirmation that everything that I've been working with, everything that I've been experiencing and feeling over the last 30 years, as an adult over the last 30 years, there is research now behind it. There is more understanding behind it. There are scientists that are talking about this. It's really, the science is catching up. This somatic intelligence and the wisdom that your body carries carries. It's that wisdom, it goes beyond words. It goes beyond our logical understanding of what's happening. It's really about tapping into this inner wisdom, this wellspring of knowledge that is within us, this wonderful connection with life itself and nature. And so many of us are so disconnected from it. And trauma is one of the reasons that we are disconnected from it, trauma and traumatic experiences. But there is also a lot to be said for social conditioning. A lot of stuff around social conditioning is to actually stop you from experiencing your feelings, honoring your feelings. And that is certainly very, very true for women. Obviously it's true for men as well, or however you choose to think about yourself. But it's very true, I am a woman, and it's very true for women that I work with. It's all about that social conditioning, who you should be as a woman, and not honoring that somatic intelligence, that wisdom of your body, that the wisdom that your body carries within, that is always present within you, even if it feels like you're very disconnected from it. And so one of the things that we know is that it's a process of unlearning. You have to unlearn what you've learned, what you've been conditioned to believe, and learn something else. And this is why seasonal living and living in line with the seasons and nature can be so powerful, because you orient yourself to something that is around you, something that is within you, something that you are part of. You're not separate from nature, you're not separate from life. And something that is really always happening, that is not dependent on the moods, like when you are dealing with somebody else, or it's not dependent on memories, it's not dependent on past experiences or trauma. It just is. And when you orient yourself towards nature and seasons within nature, it's a real stabilizing force, or can be a real stabilizing force with it around you. And one of the things, that I've been really reflecting a lot on, and funny enough, I had a really interesting conversation this morning about this with some people that I know and I meet regularly on my daily morning walks with Oscar, is around how difficult it is when we are experiencing something stressful in our lives, when we have to deal with something that is really stressful, and how it's very much about finding solutions, and how it's almost impossible to switch off the mind. And the person that I was speaking to said, been very stressed, and it's almost impossible to switch off the mind. It's impossible to stop that stress. And that's very true if we try to work with that stress through the mind. But there is another way that we can work with it, and that is where the somatic intelligence and somatic wisdom and somatic practices can come in. Might be almost impossible or very difficult for you to change how you think, because the mind is seeking solutions to your problem that is an ongoing problem in your life. And you have to deal with it. You can't run away from it. You can't just shut it out. You have to find solutions for it every day. And so you cannot directly deal with your stress in that way. But through somatic practices and through breathing practices, through somatic practices for nervous system regulation, you can impact your stress. And this is why this knowledge is so important so, so important to us. I think if that was something that was taught at school alongside of all the other subjects, that understanding around stress, understanding about the need to live in line with the rhythm of nature, understanding of how to deal with stress in different ways. Yes, some it is through mindset, some of it is through changing beliefs, some of it is how to impact your physiology directly. I say directly through your breath or movement, or through somatic practices for nervous system regulation when you are dealing with something stressful in your life and you cannot shut it off through your mind. This is a life-changing stuff. This is why I feel so passionate that we need to really all learn this stuff. It makes huge difference to people's life. When I work with people, when people understand it, when people have got that knowledge and they learn the practices, it's life-changing and potentially life-saving as well. So really understanding how disconnected we are from the natural rhythm of life and the consequences that come with it can be life-changing as well. And so as we are now shifting into the spring, I'd like to invite you to embrace the energy of spring. And what is the energy of spring? Well, the spring energy is about that renewal, and the renewal that we can invite into our lives in different ways. So you could start very simply by focusing on your health and well-being. For many years now, I've done a 3-week detox in the spring and in the autumn at the turning of the seasons. And that's something that I believe has kept my body really in a very good shape, in a very good state. This spring cleaning and detoxifying of the body by just cutting out, and it doesn't have to be the lemon detox, really hardcore, where you stop eating for days and you only just drink lemon and water and stuff like that, because many of us actually are not ready for this kind of detox. I've worked with people who have tried this kind of detox and went into a shutdown. The body had a detox symptoms like really severe headaches and aches and pains, and some of them got ill. And you don't need to do this kind of stuff. But what can be very helpful is supporting your body. Doing a detox, for example, for 3 weeks, where the week 1 and week 3 are about cleaning out your diet. So you stop eating the usual suspects or drinking the usual suspects. You cut out sugar, you cut down on coffee. If you drink a lot of coffee, or tea, you cut out alcohol, you stop eating fast food, you start eating more fresh, seasonal products and allowing your body to start detoxing in a very soft, gentle way. So you double up on the water, you double up on warm water with lemon, you rest a little bit more, you allow yourself to just clean your diet and slow down a little bit. So that's week 1 and 3. And week 2, if you want and you're ready for it and your body in week 1 has been responding quite well, you can go into having maybe bone broth or vegetarian broths, and just having a little bit more time for your body to detox, still hydrating, still having some food, but much easier stuff to digest. So your body focuses on cleansing in that time. But you could just do simply 3 weeks of cleaning up your diet and doing it in a very simple way. And you will notice how your energy shifts, how your body feels different, how your sleep is different, how your focus is different. And it's a wonderful way to do that, as I said, at the turn of the season, in the spring and in autumn. So you could start with that. You could also start with going outside a little bit more. The days are longer. Walking is a wonderful way to start honoring our physiology, honoring our needs. Walking is also a wonderful time to think about stuff. Like when I go for long walks with Oscar on the beach, often I have different kind of thoughts. Often the solutions come that maybe I haven't seen before. So really allowing that time for yourself and your well-being, and really thinking about what needs addressing, how you can take care of yourself to embracing that renewal energy of spring. You could also do this kind of stuff in your life. So spring cleaning your home, getting rid of old papers in your office, opening the windows, bringing new air, fresh air, making room for new growth and possibilities. The same goes for your business. For those of us who are self-employed, who run the business, whether part-time or full-time, we are coming with the change in seasons. We're going into spring. We are finishing Q1 of the year, reflecting what worked, what hasn't worked, looking towards the future, reassessing your goals, reassessing your vision and your mission, going through your message, really thinking about the structure of your week. I know that certainly my weeks change, how I work through autumn and winter. When it comes to spring and summer, I like to have loads more space in my weekly schedule. I want to work on different things. I want to work on different projects. And I think it's important to really understand how you feel within each season. Like, I love spring. How about you? Do you love spring? Or maybe you prefer summer? Maybe you prefer maybe there are some commitments that you have in spring that you really need to be mindful of. So really allowing yourself to embrace that energy of spring. But there is another season within that I think we need to talk about, and that is especially for women. It's true for men as well, but as I work with women, as I train female practitioners in trauma-informed somatic teaching and coaching, I think it's important for me to mention it here. We also need to embrace the life season that we are in, understanding that will have an impact on your body, on your body's needs, on your commitments. And I think, whether you are in a distinct season, the maiden, the mother, the wise woman, or the crone, each of those seasons will bring up different challenges, will bring up and different opportunities. It will bring its own wisdom. It will bring its own opportunities for growth and healing and different wisdom, different understanding of our life. Creating space for that, for your own life cycle, for your own life season, is really, really important. And this is where I see many women hitting burnout. This is where I see women working in a very, very, very masculine way. The way that, as I said, our society is structured on, based on, is very masculine, hustling, showing up. And no wonder that so many of us have been diagnosed with ADHD, in the midlife. That's been a big subject, because the whole of our society acts as everybody had this ADHD approach. It's like this pushing, striving, grabbing, working all the time, the glorification of busyness as if it was a badge of honor. And so really understanding what life season you are in can really help you to understand and embrace and honor your own needs. I know that as a woman who's 50, I celebrated my 50th birthday last year in October. I know that I cannot live in constant spring and summer, constant spring and summer, constant spring and summer, as a way of doing my business, as a way of living my life. I know that I need to slow down. I know that my body needs more rest. I know that in order to work on my projects and create programs and support other women and deliver the trainings in the best way that I can, I need more space to rest, to reflect, to create. And how I used to live even 5 years ago no longer works for me. I know I have to give myself more time. And so when you think about embracing seasonal and life transitions, there are a few things that can really, really help. So some of the, practical kind of tips that I can share with you that work for me and my clients. And number one is always listen to your body. Your body is your biography. Your body is the most honest guide that you will ever have. What is it telling you during this season? What is it asking for? And it's great if your body is still whispering. But sometimes I know that if you haven't listened to your body, it's going to start shouting at you. So it's always better to listen to your body a little bit earlier, to start listening to those whispers rather than the screaming. And, the body can scream in so many different ways, through physical health, through mental health, through accidents, through energy levels. So through our conditions, listen to your body. Listen to your body, learn to listen to their needs. So this is why in our trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach training certification, we start, module 1 is all about that. Knowing your needs, knowing how to listen to your body, and helping, and therefore helping your clients to do that. But if you cannot do it for yourself, you cannot do it as a practitioner for somebody else. So learn to listen to your body. Another tip in here might be set your intentions. Really reflect on what you want to grow, what you want to cultivate in this spring, as we are moving into spring, and in this season of your life. What is your priority? What are the things that you're saying you want to do, but you're not doing? And how can you do it? Set those intentions. Within yogic tradition, we call it sankalpa. It's heartfelt intention. It's not just through the mind, it's really felt in your heart. What is your body and your soul asking for? Set that intention and then build some habits around it, daily habits, weekly habits that will really support you in growing in this way, in becoming the person that you want to become, cultivating qualities that you want to cultivate, which then changes your identity on that somatic embodied level. And the last thing in here that I would say is seek support. When you know that you want to grow in a certain kind of way, when you connect with your needs, when you listen to your body in an embodied way, often what comes through is that you need support, that you cannot do it on your own, or it's much more difficult to do it on your own. And that's where that community and connection comes through. One of the most beautiful things that comes up in our trainings is that feedback from the female participants of saying, thank God for this community. I'm so happy that I am part of this community. I'm coming to get some support here because I've been struggling, or I'm coming here because I want to share this amazing shift, this amazing transformation, this amazing insight that actually happened after our session. And so community and connection are really important. And whether that is it needs to be both. It needs to be in person and it needs to be online. There are different things that we get from different communities and different type of connection. And when we can trust other people in this kind of way, healing and growth can take place. So find your community, connect with others, and understanding that you can find those different connections in different communities. But what is it that you need right now? What would really support you? What would really help you heal and grow in the way that you want? And so, as we are coming to the end of this podcast episode, I want to invite you to celebrate the energy of spring. I want to invite you to embrace the changes, embrace the growth, embrace the renewal that this time brings. And do it in an embodied way, not from the outside, but from the within. Bringing that balance, bringing that harmony, bringing that connection with life itself, with nature, and orienting towards the natural rhythm of nature and the life season of your life. And that will help you to stay grounded, to stay connected, and to let the wisdom of your body lead the way. The more you do it, the more it becomes something that comes naturally to you. The more it will become something that is embodied, that, oh, of course, this is how I live my life. This is what's important to me. And what I say is important, I follow on it. Of course, this is what I'm doing. So I hope you found this podcast episode insightful. I'd love to hear what you think about it. And I wish you the renewal in this spring season. Take care for now.